Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. This week, I'm combining two things that every Taiko player loves. Well, at least this Taiko player loves. That's Bachi flips and Dongo, and together they make the Dongo flip. Now, before I get into this week's content, I need to make a really important announcement. This is the last weekly video from Tic Tac Taiko for the foreseeable future. My job situation has changed for the better, but it means I have a lot less time available to make these videos. So I'm going from weekly to bi-weekly, and the videos that used to take 2 weeks will probably take 3, maybe even 4 weeks from this point on. Tic Tac Taiko isn't going anywhere. I am still having a lot of fun thinking of ideas, recording them, editing them, and apparently some of you really enjoy this channel as well. So this is just a change to future scheduling. All right, let's get on to this week's content. The Dongo flip is kind of a culmination of several of my previous videos. You have Bachi flips, you have the Flip It, which was talking about flipping and hitting at the same time, and you have Dongo. I've covered all 3 of those, so this week's video isn't going to go into details, but I'm going to include the links for the other 3 videos below. If you get stuck or have trouble with this week's drill, watch one of the other videos. I'm sure you'll find your answers there. So as you can see, for this week, you're gonna need Bachi and a surface to hit, and I recommend a metronome for when you get into the later stages and you're flowing more. There are several different versions of the Bachi flip that you can practice. We're going to cover 3 and a variation at the end. The first version is real simple. If I play Dongo starting with the right hand, like so, I'm going to flip before each of the hits. And this is just like the Flip It video that I linked to earlier. It might be interesting to see what my hands are doing from the side, so I'm going to do the same thing again at a side angle. One thing I like to do after I get the flow down, even if I have to drop the tempo, is to listen to the catch as well as the hit, because the catch is creating its own dongo. And it's not that this is important to the drill, but it helps me focus on something different. It kind of makes the hands go in automatic, and that's what I want. I want the flow to happen versus thinking of every single component. The microphone may not pick up the catch as well, but we'll see what happens. Of course, this is Tic Tac Taiko, and if I'm not doing it on both sides, then you know it's not me. So you should always be practicing a drill like this with the other hand leading first. In this case, my left hand starting. Another version to try is actually in a way easier than the first version. It's Dongo with one hand and you're flipping in between the 2 notes with the other. And the other side is important too, right? This is around when it gets really useful to have a metronome that has the swung triplet on it, or dongo, because it helps you link your head and your hands to what you're supposed to be playing, which kind of frees up some bandwidth to what your hands are doing with the flips. And our last version is actually pretty tricky, so you might want to bring the tempo down. I am. You're going to be doing dongo with one hand, like you did before, but instead of the other hand flipping, the same hand is flipping in between the 2 notes. Something like this. And yep, other hand needs it too, right? The variation that you can do with any of the versions of this drill, even ones I haven't explained yet, is to change the flip itself. Right now, all of the flips have been single flips. And so on. But remember, there are multiple flips you can use. For example, you can do the double flip, which as you can see is not easy. Or you can even attempt the reverse single flip. Which is also kind of tricky. For me, the other type of flips mean the tempo has to drop significantly, and I'm really struggling with trying to go between one flip and the other flip, but it's something I could do with time. If you decide to try one of the other flips, great, have fun with it, but don't worry if you find it way too hard or really frustrating. It kind of is. And the last thing I'm going to present is a short demo doing the Dongo flip. I don't know what versions are going to come out. I'm probably not going to do any fancy flips, but who knows what my hands might do in the Dongo flip. You might pull off the Dongo flip during a solo or maybe even in a song somewhere, but most likely this is going to be used for coordination and grip training. The coordination that it takes to do the Dongo flip is a lot higher than, say, with a straight beat like you did in the Flip It video. The Flip It video showed you how to do things simultaneously, which is generally easier. And then when you did a straight beat, you were alternating between one hand or the other. And this, while challenging, is a lot easier to do because you're isolating your attention. With the Dongo, you can't really isolate. You've got a pattern that you have to play, and your hands, even though they're doing something similar, like in Flip It, it's slightly offset, but not quite enough to separate them. So you have to have the whole thing, you're visualizing it as a whole thing, not just isolated parts. As for the grip, this drill forces you to have a lighter, more nimble grip so that you can flip and catch and hit all within a natural flow that you're kind of forced into by the tempo of the Dongo. Those of you who tend to grip too hard are going to find this drill exceptionally difficult, and you're going to have to let go a little bit so that you can do the drill at whatever tempo you choose. The goal of this drill isn't to play fast, isn't to play hard, and most of my drills don't go that route anyways. The goal is to have a smooth flow where your hands just kind of become automatic, even at a slower tempo. And you can kind of sit back mentally and observe, how's my tempo? How's my evenness? And how are my hands doing? Rather than thinking about every single component. Once you can get past the component part, you're getting into the actual goal of this drill. So don't forget, Tic Tac Taiko will now be on a bi-weekly schedule. Hopefully I can maintain that schedule, but I'll let everyone know if anything changes. If you like this video, let me know with a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know the button's down there. It's waiting for you to click on it. It's very cold and lonely, and a click will make it feel better. And me too. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.